Hello, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel, Marley Reads a Lot. Today I'm going to be filming my April reading wrap-up where I'm going to talk about the books that I read in April. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you may have noticed that I haven't uploaded in a few weeks, and that is because I actually ended up getting pretty sick during the month of April and actually ended up in the hospital and got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I have a lot of changes going on in my life and had a very traumatic month to say the least. So I actually was in the middle of filming this reading vlog for my channel that I actually ended up having to abandon. Now it's May, so I ended up only reading a few books in the month of April because of what I just mentioned. So this should be a pretty quick video today, but I really just wanted to kind of wrap up April and start fresh in May, start making videos again. So yeah, let's just kind of get into it. So the first book that I ended up reading in April when I was still healthy was Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. And I actually read this for a 24-hour reading vlog that's up on my channel, so I will link that. It was one of the only videos I uploaded in April. This book I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I'm sure many of you know this book is a bit of a prequel book to The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. It's a very popular YA book, and basically we are following Maverick, who is Star's dad, when he was a teenager. So he's 17 years old and he ends up getting a girl pregnant, so he's having to deal with being a teen dad. He's kind of caught up in the drug dealing scene as well and trying to get out of that. It was a very compelling read. There's a lot of drama going on and it was really nice to read about the Hate You Give characters and this world again. I enjoyed it so much. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, as this was a very long time ago now. It's hard to remember everything else, but definitely check out that reading vlog I mentioned for more details. Then I actually completed 2 volumes in my Deathnote series that I have. If you don't know, Deathnote is actually a popular anime that I'm a really big fan of, so I wanted to read the manga as well. So I actually got through 2 volumes of it, and I actually put it down because it was so similar to the show. It's very similar, and because I'm so familiar with the show, I just didn't really feel like rereading, you know, something that I was so familiar with. But I am hoping to slowly continue with this. But I gave the first 2 volumes 5 out of 5 stars. I love this series. If you are like new to manga or new to anime, Deathnote is what I would recommend, as I have not watched many anime and not read many manga, and I love it. So it's definitely for people who, you know, are not really familiar with those types of media. It's a good way to get into it because it's so twisty. If you really like plot twists and thrillers, I would definitely recommend Deathnote. To explain what it's about, I also read this in my 24-hour reading vlog that I already mentioned, but basically it is about a notebook where whatever name you write in it, that person dies. And these things belong to shinigamis, which are basically gods of death. And this one shinigami drops his notebook into the human world, and a teenager named Light finds it and starts using it, and it really escalates from there. Then we get into the 3 books that I planned on reading for that reading vlog I mentioned that I ended up scrapping due to getting ill. The first book that I did complete for that vlog was Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and I think I ended up rating this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Geekerella is essentially a Cinderella retelling, but more of a geeky version of it. Essentially, there's this girl, Elle, who is obsessed with this sci-fi television show. I forget what it's called now. It's Star something, and it's kind of reminiscent of Star Wars or Star Trek. She has the typical Cinderella style to her life. She was really close with her dad, really bonded with him over loving this TV show, and of course he passed away, and so now she lives with her stepmother and her stepsisters, who treat her like trash In the meantime, we also have the prince-esque character Darian, who is actually a famous actor. He's like a teen heartthrob, and he ends up getting casted in the new version of Stargazer, or whatever it was called in the book. And our two main characters end up getting in touch with each other over text, and they don't know who each other is, but they end up bonding over text, and that's kind of like how they do their bonding in the book. And that was something I didn't overly like about it, because I just felt like it was a little insta-lovey. I just don't think you can fully get to love someone just knowing them over text. The ball type situation was actually a cosplay competition that Elle ends up entering, and that is how she ends up eventually meeting Darian the Prince, aka the famous actor. So I found this book to be very, very cheesy. It was very much a classic cheesy YA book, not anything special, which is why I was only like a 3.5. I did like that it was very easy to read, pretty quick to get through, but it was nothing special. So the next book that I completed was On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. So now I am officially caught up on Angie Thomas's works, and it follows our main character Bree, who has a passion for rapping, and her dad was actually a rapper who passed away when she was younger, and so she kind of wants to like follow in his footsteps and also like but also be her own artist, right? So this book definitely was different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought Star was just gonna enter a rap battle like competition, and that there was going to be a bunch of rap battling throughout the book, and it was going to be more of a light-hearted book, but this actually took more of a serious turn. Similar to The Hate U Give, it focused on a lot of different issues and topics, like serious topics such as racism, specifically like police brutality, racism against Black people. So very similar concepts actually to The Hate U Give. I actually wish that there was more rapping in this, because when Brie did freestyle rap, it was really fun. I really liked seeing her rhymes that she came up with, and like the disses she had for the person she was rap battling against, and I just wish that there was more of that and more like fun moments of her rapping, because there was like a lot of serious stuff in this book as well. But I really enjoyed all of our characters and the relationships. I think Angie Thomas is such a good author. I'm just loving her books. So I gave this one 5 stars again, even though I probably could have given it less because of what I said about how I wish that it was a little bit different. Like I wish there was more rapping involved. I also was sick as I was reading this. I actually ended up finishing this in the ER. So I feel like the headspace I was in and just like the place I was in maybe is the reason that I had a few negative like thoughts about the book. I don't think I was in the best place mentally when I read this, so I didn't want to like judge it too harshly because of that. But overall, really recommend all of Angie Thomas's books. If you've read The Hate U Give and you're like haven't got to her other books yet, definitely get to them. So Concrete Rose and On the Come Up, both really great books. And the final book that I attempted to read for that vlog that I mentioned that I abandoned was Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith, I think his name was. And I actually decided to DNF this book. So what it's about was, it was about these characters playing video games, which I am not a gamer, so maybe that was my mistake. But I kind of wanted to learn more about the gaming world, I guess. And I also thought that, you know, even though the book was about characters that were gamers, I didn't think that it would affect the story that much. Like when I've read other books that have to do with fandoms like Fangirl or Geekerella that I mentioned in this video, I feel like fandom is like a part of their life, but there's other things going on in the story. However, when I was reading Don't Read the Comments, there was literally so much description of the characters playing video games that I really couldn't get through it. I think I only read about 4 chapters, like 2 chapters from each of the 2 POV characters, and I just could not get into it. As I said, I also got sick and went in the hospital, so that also was a part of my decision to DNF this book. But I think I was pretty much decided I was going to DNF it, even before I went into the hospital, because the writing was also feeling very immature and I just could not connect with it. So I would like to do another vlog one day where I read more YA contemporaries. I think I'm gonna have to be more picky about them and try and pick ones that seem like they'll have more substance, like Angie Thomas's book, such as On the Come Up, and maybe not as much that are like Geekerella, that are just very cheesy and kind of like shallow, which I think is common. I think a lot of people that are older, like me, adults, the YA books that they read are the more hard-hitting ones, and that's really what I need to focus on. So I guess I only read 3 books this month and 2 manga volumes, which is a very small amount, which is definitely disappointing. But as I said, I did kind of end up getting diagnosed with a chronic illness, so I think we can forgive that. If there's anyone out there that happens to be watching this video and has type 1 diabetes, definitely let me know, definitely comment, because I'm adjusting a lot to that right now in my life. But also let me know if you've read the books that I mentioned this month as well, because would love to chat about that too. I have definitely missed being on BookTube. I actually hit 200 subscribers while I was sick, so thank you guys for that. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back into the groove of things, of working and school and doing BookTube again. Please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll make some diabetes content as well. Okay, this is getting a little bit awkward because it's been so long since I filmed. I kind of forget how to do it, but hopefully you guys liked this video and liked catching up with me, and hopefully you'll continue to see more of me in your inboxes once again. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.